Hey, Dr. Draw Alex here. As you might have heard, an AI-generated art piece won an art competition in Colorado, which made artists around the world very, very nervous and raises questions like, do I still have a career in art? Are my creative skills still of value in the future? And is AI taking over art? More and more people are experimenting with AI, and it's becoming more common to see AI-generated pieces on our Instagram, and it's also being used for text and video. The ways to use AI seem endless, so honestly, this might be the last video before my job is taken over by AI. But first, let's have a look at how AI works, which is actually quite simple because an AI is a system that follows orders, and this system has three fundamental steps. First, it collects images from various sources, which we'll look at a bit closer in a moment. Then it chooses images and makes a selection of which images to use and which not. And finally, it combines images or parts of those images and arranges them in a certain way to eventually create a result.
That sounds exactly like the thinking of a machine to me.
That said, there are different AI generators. We have Midjourney, dall-e, Deep Dream Generator, Night Cafe, and while you're watching this video, there are probably even more. And while they all use similar steps to get to a art piece, they kind of differ in the sources they use. While dall-e seems to take its source material from all available pictures on the internet, Midjourney is probably feeding itself from sites like DeviantArt, Shutterstock, and Behance. But how does AI know what images to use and what not? We'll answer that question in a bit, but first let's compare AI to humans. While AI has a simple three-step system, the human process can be quite chaotic. We might start with a clear idea, but midway through think of going a whole different route and end up somewhere we didn't expect at all. Our journey has a kind of unpredictability to it. And while AI uses images as inspiration, we humans use experiences. We could use music, theater, literature, or love as inspiration. As humans, we live our lives and get inspired by the most random stuff out there. We could see a painting and listen to some music and try to combine it. But AI needs input, which actually means this drawing is wrong. AI isn't a three-step system to create art. It's a three-step system used by an operator, in this case a sloppy human that has a great idea. Without us, this supercomputer wouldn't get very far. An AI needs an order or words, also known as a prompt, to create something. If we type in violence between internet censorship versus free speech, dall-e, using the whole internet as its source, gets us something like this, while Midjourney with more specific sources gets us something like this. So the source the system uses influences the outcome, which is funny enough quite similar to how we humans work. What I'm saying is that we can't really compare AI to humans. It's more like a tool. So this graphic is wrong. It's better to compare AI with a brush, Photoshop, mixed media, or a keyboard if you like to write and produce books instead of paintings. The biggest difference between AI and those other tools is that AI is fast. You type in a few words on a Discord server and within a minute you'll get an image. Which is painful for visual artists who spent decades honing skills like perspective, form, value, and composition to eventually reach the Hall of Fame. Instead, for a few bucks, we can get access to a supercomputer who will take us right to that Hall of Fame in no time, right? But we have to remember that this art piece isn't made by AI, but by an artist, in this case Jason Allen. And while violence between internet censorship versus free speech got us this image, you can imagine that this image needs a far longer key trail with specific prompts indicating what images to select and combine. In other words, to create a winning art piece, we need to come up with a specific prompt for AI or a creative idea if we want to make a painting. So how do we get creative ideas? Well, what if I told you it's not about how we come up with creative ideas, but why we create? Why would you make a drawing of apples or write a song about how you feel? Why did Van Gogh live like a bum, cut off his own ear and made hundreds of paintings? Why did Kim Young-gi spend all of his free time creating immense drawings full of incredible detail. Because they enjoyed expressing themselves. It's the same reason why I make these YouTube videos. It's a way of sharing something with the world that you haven't seen before. And that's the beauty of being a human. We get inspired by our experiences. So you could watch a theater or a movie and then make it into a drawing. But the problem is that we confuse result with process. Van Gogh isn't adored because of this painting. He made over 900 paintings in a time span of 10 years, which means he created a painting every 36 hours. His dedication and quantity of work is what makes him famous. And Kim Young-gi isn't adored because of this drawing. He's known for drawing straight from imagination without a sketch. We value someone mostly for the craftsmanship, determination, process, and fun, and just a bit for the result. Because when seeing more of someone's work, we see development and recognize their persona through their work. It doesn't matter whether you're good or bad at something. It matters whether you enjoy doing it. We have to embrace that creative child in us who just wants to create stuff. And the easiest way to do that is to pick a tool you're most comfortable with. Whether that's AI or a ballpoint pen, that doesn't really matter. But we have to remember that whatever tool we pick has certain fundamentals that we need to understand. For example, if you pick painting, you'll need to spend some years on understanding value, composition, and brush control. If you pick drawing, you'll need to develop perspective, form, and line control. If you pick photography, composition, lighting, and attention to details are important. And for AI, you'll need to come up with ideas, think in metaphors, and learn to iterate. Personally, I like to draw, but I'm curious how other artists will play with and use AI in the future, and how it will be used to create art, videos, music, and who knows what. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on AI. Share those in the comments below. Thanks for watching and have an awesome day. Bye bye. Hey, if you're wondering how this piece won an art competition, be sure to check out my next video in which I will do a breakdown.